Hey guys, and we are back being blunt with Akshay Shaurya and Devansh. Today's topic is about modern day relationships, real or scam. So let's have a roundtable discussion, and I'll let's throw it off each one of us quickly. Akshay, modern day relationships, real or scam?
So I would definitely believe they are real. I don't know
Okay,
why we will ever fight on this, but I definitely think they're real. Yeah.
okay. Devansh, real or scam?
Yeah, I mean, scam, totally scam of the highest order.
Why
I
am
think
I,
you guys sort of know this from me.
why am I not surprised? I personally believe partial real, partial scam. I think they are partial real, partial scam personally because it's just people are just different, right? So some people I think they love and they date real, whereas some people I think the whole idea and concept of dating, which we will get on to later in this today's episode, I think it's more scam, more of a scam that they believe in than real. But Akshay, why do you believe they are real? Like you literally bluntly said real.
That's not an issue. I just feel like people overhype the relationships in terms of what the expectations need to be. But if there's a normal relation with the right person, I definitely believe they're real, even in the modern times. That's not anything I'm going to ever change my opinion on. But I don't think anybody needs to overhype what the outcomes or any expectation of a relationship should hold. But they're definitely
Mm.
real if you're with the right person. And the time to find a right person can be any time. It's not a fixed one. Or you can be young, you can be old, you can be a mediocre age. That's fine. But if the right person, it can be a very real thing, even in the modern times.
What about you, Devu? You said scam.
Yeah, I mean, so makes sense, right? So essentially, I think that there's a slight demarcation here. We talk about love and then we talk about relationships, right? Love, I still feel, right? Love is one of the most basal emotions to us as a human. It's as real as it gets, right? As I said, life is just a series of pains and suffering, and love is what makes it all worth it. But when we come to relationships, right, especially what I feel as a country, right, you may like Bollywood, you may hate Bollywood, whatever, but our cultural subconscious as a country is Bollywood. And I believe like relationships have just this culturally fed Bollywood bullshit integrated into them, right? So I was just talking to a very good friend last night, in fact, just about this particular thing. How we're all Bollywood kids. I absolutely loved watching Bollywood movies, whether it's things even like a Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi or something like a K3G and Kalona, everything, right? I was that kid particularly. But I mean, as and when you realize sort of how it's actually a lot of just the romantic sort of movement when it started in the 1900s, and the kind of things that they're showing in Bollywood is what propagates into us in terms of relationship and what we think is love. So I think that is why I really believe like the vast majority of the relationships in 2020 are a scam.
Mm. Okay. Well, I think that's like a very good there's a very good thing that you said over there, right? It was you are a Bollywood kid and you love love stories because they kind of show you a portray of ideal love. They kind of say that okay, this is what falling in love is all about. That no
Hmm.
matter how strong the villain is, no matter how strong there is this one person trying to keep the couple away, the movie does not end until there is a happy ending, right? And the happy ending is always the couple coming back together and sort of living their life happily ever after. This is a typical Bollywood romantic movie plot, right?
100%.
So yeah, that's what I
But
meant. I said if you don't overhype the expectations and outcomes of any relationship, you don't look for ideal love. The relationships can be very real with the right person. No, that's what
but
exactly.
exactly.
but here's my problem with what you're saying, right? So I mean, see, idealistically, right, it's very easy for me or you or anyone to sit here and be like, we should be in a relationship and not
Mm.
expect
No,
anything out of
no,
the
no.
other
We should
person.
not be in a relationship. We should just encounter one whenever the
Yeah,
time's
yeah,
right.
yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
I get that. That's not the point, right? I get that. So my
Hmm.
point is, whenever you are in a relationship, right, it's very easy to sort of, and it's good relationship advice too, objectively, that do not have a lot of expectations of the other person, blah 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 blah. But I think realistically, right, which was the point I was getting to, realistically, what tends to happen is you sort of try and unknowingly you attach your identity to a specific relationship. And the moment you do that, right, so if that relationship is failing, you feel terribly bad even about yourself. And what that leads to is ultimately expectations, right? If you feel the other person is not putting as much into it or anything, you again feel bad. Then you go into a self doubt of questioning yourself, and then you question the relationship. Okay, she does not love me as much. Maybe that's because I am not worthy of loving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the loop you go into with relationships. And that is why it's easy to say, wherein we're like, let's not have expectations and let's just dive in on anything, but eventually you do develop expectations. So I think that's sort of a nuance there that's sort of missing.
Is there a personal trauma attached in the past which made you say all of this in one
No,
go?
I mean, not necessarily personal trauma, but like a span of multiple relationships, right? Not any specific relationship per se, but like multiple relationships, right? It's always a constant feeling. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not necessarily about me. But I feel like all relationships, there is at some level this sense of having something and then having the threat to lose it, if you think about it, right? So when, let's say, you're single, right, and surprisingly, coincidentally, I was just my point being, when you're in a relationship, there's always something at the back of your mind. Okay, this is something I have and this is something that can go. And there's always this sense of loss that's really attached to it. And that's what leads to a lot of expectations. And I mean, like, over analysis and overthinking. I think relationships
Yeah,
are the best place to overthink the shit out of anything.
Just one thing
that's
there. Sorry, you can continue just right off this. I'm not single.
okay.
I think no.
What?
Okay, we wouldn't know, but anyway.
Why wouldn't we know this, Akshay?
Yeah, I guess I know.
And why is this being revealed on the podcast and not off
Because
air?
we'll cut it later. No.
I will not cut this thing now because I
Chalo,
was
theek hai.
not aware of this.
Okay.
So keeping that aside and coming back to the actual thing, right? He said a very good thing over there, Devansh, right? He said attaching your personality to the loss of a losing relationship, right? The loss of a failing relationship. And I kind of think like that's my opinion when it comes to the scam of relationships as well, because I think that is the catalyst that acts in the situation is the social aspect of relationships, which is social media, right? Our
Hmm.
generation has become so fucking obsessed with starting the rest of their lives that they are actually willing to give up the one they are currently living. And I think the way I would sort of put this, and listen to this carefully, okay, is basically we have romanticized the idea of romance, and it's
Right.
cancerous. Okay, people are more in love with the idea of love than the person they're
That's so
actually
true.
with,
So true.
which is fed by nothing but social media. So Instagram, Facebook, whatever, people posting their relationships and then waiting for people to validate their relationships, validate the person they are with. They don't care about what I so like me personally, I really believe in my self validation with whoever I am. So if I wake up next to someone, so I'm single right now, okay, but I've had two relationships and I've been with around 8 9 girls, but I'm not looking to
How
mingle
have you
right
been
now.
with 8 9 girls in 2 relationships?
I have, in general, I have had two relationships, but I
Okay.
have been with around
What a player.
few girls. Shut up. But I'm personally not looking to mingle, right? I think I'm just kind of focusing on myself right now.
That's
But
their job.
sorry.
What? No. Carry on, man.
Carry on, carry on.
Please.
I'm personally not looking to mingle right now, right? I'm just like I'm focusing on myself, and it's not like I'm stopping myself from being out there. I'm just
Mhm.
working on myself, but I'm still out there, And if something comes good, I will definitely carry along with it. But me personally, I have this validation that I do, right, and which is a very plain and simple validation, and it's that when you wake up next to a girl, right, and you feel like I just really want to go to my friends or I just want to call my friends. That is the point when I kind of realize that this is not the person I want to be with, because I know, because I have felt it in the past in one of my relationships, and you wake up next to a person, and you just don't feel like going to your friends or calling your friends because you feel like I am with my best friend already.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
And that feeling is sort of my way of validating, that okay, this is the person I want to be with. It doesn't matter what Tom says, what Harry says, or what Dick says, literally.
Right.
uh, right. what what matters is that, like, my self validation is being fed
No, no, I,
by
I,
my
I get your
emotions, and
point,
that's
right?
it.
Right. I get your point, but here's where I sort of like differ, and I feel like this is also something you were getting to. It's the same point, but like, I mean, to articulate it simply, right? So the way I look at it is, let's say you're with a girl, right? Now, if I'm in a relationship with a girl, I should make her feel like she's the queen of my world and treat her like such, but not the queen of the world, right? And there's a difference here. So the difference is, whenever it comes to anything between the two of us, I'm going to give in my 100% everything. But at the same time, it's equally important for me to have my life, my own battles that I'm fighting, my own
Of
adventures
course.
in addition to that relationship, right? It should not be the locus of my life, because I'll tell you the
Yeah.
problem, right? By making it the center point of your life, you're doing the greatest disservice to the other person, to the relationship, and to yourself, right? And the reason you're doing it is because if you don't feel complete on the inside, right, if you feel incomplete on the inside, you are always looking for the next thing or the next person to complete you. And
Hmm.
that's not the fundamental basis for any decent or sustainable relationship, right? Because it just ends up exhausting the other person,
No, but
Yeah.
essentially.
who's asking you
It's
to make the relationship the locus of your life? There's nobody asking you.
no.
I
Yeah.
agree. While
No, but I
there
mean, see,
can
I'll
be
tell
some
you,
people
right?
who want an over expectation of the relationship. Yeah, they want more attention, whatever. But there's nobody asking you to make him or her a locus of your life. No, you can choose to be a part of that relationship, or you can choose
No,
to make
but
things clear.
Akshay,
I have more important things in my life to just divert that much attention to you.
No, but
but
again, see,
Akshay, she should
yeah,
have the
what
exact
you
same thing as well, right? She should have the exact same thing. So you know how, like, for us guys, we don't want the locus of a relationship to be like, we don't want to have relationship is not the only thing we want in life. We should have our own life. Similarly, they would have their own life as well, because they deserve the same right whilst being in a relationship with you. So it kind of works together. But if, per se, like, that person that you are with does not have their own friends, does not have their own work life, or does not have their own life or whatever, then everything is kind of hooked on to you, right? Then it's just your dependency. So when you are in
Exactly.
a
Don't
relationship,
be
then
in that relationship. No, don't call it a relationship if it's not a worthy enough relationship to call.
no,
I
but
get what you're saying, but don't be in that relationship.
no. So
That's very
again, see,
easy to get out of one if you don't feel like to be in one.
again, yeah. So see, now we've sort of diverged into toxic relationships and whatnot,
No,
right? But essentially, my core point again was, see, it's very easy to sort of again say this out loud, wherein this should not be a central point or focal point, whatever. My point being, when you are in a relationship, right, you don't see these lines blurring. You don't see how it happens slowly. You don't decide one day and be like, oh, this person is the central point of my life, or all of my validation comes from this one person, or because I'm incomplete on the inside, now this person is going to complete me. That's not how it happens. It's a gradual process where this starts, right? And it's important to recognize that if, again, as I was saying, if you don't have your own battles to fight, whether it's work, career, whatever, right, that is the point wherein you sort of start making that the center point of your life. Because ultimately, see, it stems, right? So anything that triggers you, right, anything, and these sort of things trigger people. Anything that triggers you comes from some deep insecurity, right? Potentially, maybe you feel you did not receive enough love, or maybe you feel, are you even worthy of enough love? So what happens is you try to get the other person to answer this question for you, because you cannot answer yourself, because you're not 100% sure that you deserve to be loved. You need someone else to constantly tell you that yes, you deserve to be loved, yes, you deserve to be loved. And that is what sort of, it's, as I said, it's just a disservice. And coming to my second point, right, because again, you said, right, the other person should also feel that way. So here's what I think. Like it's about a rate of mental growth, right? So it's about a rate of mental growth that I believe like two people in relationship should have comparable levels of growth happening in their mental spaces within themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is extremely important. If it's too high for someone and too low for the other, that is when conflict arises. That is the exact point of conflict, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lot more about mental growth there.
No, but we can't always judge someone else also. I can't say about any of the three of us, obviously, but we can't always judge someone if or not their growth is happening. Everyone's growth happens at a very, very different pace, be it very slow, be it very fast, be it average. That's fine, but we can't just judge someone just because at that point of time their growth is not being able to match with maybe there's other partner's growth.
I think
100%.
what Devansh was saying, I think what Devansh was kind of implying, and I'll just sort of extend it a little bit as well, is yes, of course, you can't judge someone's mental growth, and you are no one to judge their mental
Just
growth
sounds
as
right.
well. It's just that when you are in
It's
a
a point of
relationship,
conflict. That's where it's an
yes,
observation that that's where conflict arises in relationships, is when the rate of growth is different, and hence there is this conflict of whether am I getting enough out of the relationship, whether is the other person as invested or not, right? And these are all thoughts. I mean, everyone has had in any or the other relationship, right? I mean, we've all been in such places wherein you're sort of questioning either yourself or the other person or the relationship within itself. But
yeah,
that's where it
but
arises.
what's important here to remember is that people need to realize that uh, parallel growth or stunted growth, whichever way the relationship goes, right? You need to like stick and you need to hang on and you need to help each other grow. That's how people grow in a relationship, right? If I'm in a relationship and my personal growth is being stunted because of the other person, that's a toxic relationship I am in, right? If I'm getting into bad habits, right? If I'm leaving bad habits, becoming a better person in a relationship, learning new things, becoming a better version of myself, I need to make sure that I am sort of reciprocating the same to the other person as well, and the other person is growing with me. That's an ideal situation in a relationship. And you can sense these results, right? You can sense these things. And even after you break up, right? Even after, let's say that, no, like, irrespective of all that, let's say the relationship still fails, you are still a better person than who you were prior to that relationship. And that, I think, is the beauty of a non-toxic relationship, a relationship which is based out of love and not out of social insecurities. And just to conclude my social point, which I began earlier, right? I'm just gonna bluntly say it out there, and I think it's very important for everyone to know. Please believe me, Instagram is a lie. This is someone saying who uses Instagram a fucking lot. Okay? It is a lie because we are not broadcasting our failures. We are not posting our challenges. We are not uploading our weakness. No, we are only showing you the good stuff. Just because just because we are only showing you the good stuff, it does not mean that there is not some bad stuff that we are actually walking through. And the only way you're going to actually walk into amazing things is when you get your eyes off of the grass on the other side, and you can actually focus where you are, be it
No, no.
relationships, be it
Have you guys seen
individually,
Black?
professionally, or whatever.
Have you seen Black Mirror? Mein, there's this episode in season 3, episode 1. I think the first episode. It's called Nosedive. So I mean,
Okay,
there's this woman, and they have a phone with a social score attached to everyone, and
I've
it
seen
keeps
that.
like a rating out of 5. She starts from 4.1. She tries to get to a 4.5. Ultimately, by the end of it, she's like at a
Yeah.
1. And right, you've seen that, right?
Yeah, I
So I
tried.
mean,
Making my ex watch that
hmm.
episode of Black Mirror, and she couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah, it's too real, right? Because it tells you
Yeah.
exactly what's happening, right? I mean, it's not even about Instagram, right? Instagram or social media has just hyper propagated these problems that always existed in us as humans, right? I mean, again, uh it's wrong to demonize only social media for this, because these things, this comparison always existed in us, right? I mean, a core aspect of our reality and how we operate on a biological level is how we see ourselves through the lens of others, and how we compare ourselves. It happens very instinctively. Social
Yeah.
media has given you access to comparing yourself not to the 100 people around you, but to the 10,000 people across your network. That is the only difference. It's just ramped it up to a massive scale, right?
Yeah.
But we're always comparing ourselves, and again, that's where the issue comes. If your relationship or whatever it is, right, it's if it's not based out of a place of truth, right, whatever it is, right, I mean, there is no right reason to have a relationship or a wrong reason to not have a relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's just that it should be based out of a place of honesty wherein everyone is on the same page, right? Because when that doesn't happen, that is when a lot of the conflict arises, right? So that's there. And also, coming to your point, right, about sort of judgment and everything, right? Again, I think love ultimately, right, what is love is acceptance, truly, right? Love is acceptance, because what tends to happen now is, which was my point about why there is scam and the idea of Bollywood. Now let's say I've seen DDLJ, right? I'm a big fan. Now what happened, in every
Sorry,
womanizer.
sorry. Just to put a bit of context, DDLJ is a very, very popular romantic Bollywood movie for all the people who don't know. Continue.
cult cult classic. But yeah,
Yeah.
so let's say I've seen DDLJ, right? I absolutely love it. And what happens subconsciously is, now I try finding, let's say, the Kajol from DDLJ in every girl I see, and I decide by my own standards, for no rhyme or reason, that I want a girlfriend or a wife, let's say, like Kajol from DDLJ. Now what will happen is, I will try to keep on finding one, and once I find anyone, I will stretch the parts of them that are a little like Kajol, be over amplified. I'll top of the parts of them that are nothing like Kajol, completely, and try and make them Kajol, because I am really insecure that this is not the person I want to be with. And that is the reality of how most relationships operate today, right? You're constantly trying to either adjust yourself or to fix the other person, right? We have a god complex as a
Yeah.
generation, to fix the other person and try and adjust them to our definition of what is good, what is ideal, and it's pathetic. It's really, really
Yeah.
pathetic to sort of see
Yeah.
that.
Guys, I'll tell you something. I think you both are very much complicating the very fact or very foundation of a relationship. It can be a very easy thing or a very natural thing to be in. Don't overcome. I agree with some of your points. For example, that page thing, both of them need to be on the same page for it to actually work. That makes sense. But nobody's asking you to stick in one. It's a 21st century. It's a matter of youth. Everyone has the right or the choice to try out different relationships, be in many. For example, in the past 2 months, I've been on and off on several ones because I feel very scared when somebody is on very 100 pages ahead of me. I feel very scared and insecure because I'm just not there, which makes sense what Devan just said. But you have the right and the choice to just choose the partner you're comfortable with. It's the 21st century. If you don't feel like the right vibe with the right person, just move on, change the partner, or just literally focus on yourself. You don't have to go looking for someone also. It's a very natural flow, easy flow. We don't need to overcomplicate anything. If somebody asks you out next time, I don't think you'll think about these 100 things before you say yes or no. And I don't think you shouldn't also.
No,
Just
no, right. So, I mean, again, personally, what you're saying, 100% right, right? So, I mean, what you emphasized on, how a person should approach it, makes sense. What we are talking about here is, why do you see over 70% divorce rates? Why do you see 99% of the relationships fail today, right? That's a factual sort of
99% of the
statistic.
relationships are supposed to fail because of the exact thing I'm saying. The divorces, that's a one step ahead. That's fine. 99% of the relationships are supposed to fail because you guys are just not right for each other. And it's
Precisely.
exactly, and
And the
everyone has the right to just choose the right partner and change relationships, end relationships, make new relationships until they find one. They are supposed to fail in that manner.
Yes, but
100%.
when you say until they find one, right? I think that's
Not
what
the
Devansh was implying as
one
well.
that
It's
you're
like,
comfortable with. Yes.
how do you define that, like, that one, right?
Exactly.
And
There is
that
no
is the
definition to it.
problem.
There is no definition to it. We don't need to complicate it by defining it. It's a very natural thing.
Yeah, no, but people today, that's the problem.
I
That
think
is the
Shaurya.
reason. That's the problem. That is the reason why I feel that, like, it's partially a scam, because I know there are some people out there who know and understand this, that there is no perfect image of your, the one for you. But some people out there actually have a list of characteristics that they find in their the one, which Devansh was
Exactly.
mentioning
This
earlier,
was
that
exactly what
I
you're
would.
getting, right? They have a list of characteristics
Yeah,
to define.
they'll be like, has to be tall, has to be dark, has to be handsome, has to have like, I don't know, whatever. No, but this is the problem, right? And like, does that, because if that is the case, does that mean that like a tall person can only be with, so a tall person can be with everyone, but a short guy can only be with short girls or girls that are shorter than him because girls want to wear heels.
No, right, right. So I'll tell you what. So see, I am even fine with that, right? I am even fine with having your own set of preferences, whether it's tall, short, dark, fair, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
We are no one to judge, right? And biologically, you're wired to have certain preferences, right? My issue is not with preferences, but on the other hand, right, here's also my thing. So what happens is, why again most relationships fail is there is a lack of investment truly in modern relationships in our times. So on one end, right, as we discussed, so your first relationship, your second relationship, whatever, what you will end up doing is investing just a shit ton of your time, effort, everything, and make that person the center point of your life. All good, all good. Eventually what you realize is, okay, the first one failed, the second one failed, whatever. By the third time, what you start doing is then have these walls built up in front of you, because now you're so afraid of what happened the first couple of times and how you felt. You're so scared that you don't want to feel that way again, that you don't allow anyone to have the power over you to make you feel that way again, right? And actually this is the crisis that a lot of relationships really face, because there is a lack of investment, because people don't realize that if you think about it, the cost of love in itself is loss, right? If you love, right, if you truly love anyone, it is the fact that you give them the power to hurt you, because eventually there is a possibility it might end, right? And until you do that, you do not really love the other person, right? And which is again why, love is what makes the pain worth it again, uh, in that, right? So I think this is also something to not get disenchanted by, wherein, if some relationships don't work out, you sort of start over analyzing the other person, and that is when you build characteristics and everything. Otherwise, I'm very of having personal preferences, right? I really don't agree with sort of the opinion that we no one should have personal preferences. We are biologically wired to have personal preferences, right? Someone, whether it's dark, tall, short, fair, whatever it may be, right? That's up to you. You can't really fight that on some level. But restraining yourself from investing everything into a relationship, that's not right either.
To be very blunt, okay, I have my own list of personal preferences myself.
Hmm.
Okay, um, I mean, at least let's just say I had a list of personal preferences for myself, right? And
Where's that list,
then,
bro?
bro, because I'll tell you what happens every time have a list of my personal preferences. Someone or the other walks into my life who is completely not fitting in my list of preferences, but you just look at that person, and then the Bollywood Shahrukh in me suddenly is awake, and there's violence in the background, music is playing, flowers everywhere, and suddenly you just like, well, this person does not fit my preferences, but why is this happening to me, right? I'm that
That
kind of
is
a
love.
person. Yes, and I am that kind of a person. I absolutely, the reason I am choosing to be single right now is not because I hate love. I think the reason I am choosing to be single for a while right now is I do not hate love. I just love love a bit too much to see it being hurt again and again. Um, and which makes me really tired. It's very tiring to get to know a whole new person from scratch again, their family,
That's
their habits, their way of living, etc. Which I think is something that is feeding my belief in partial scam. But because I used to be a whole real about modern day relationships, But
Hmm.
now it's suddenly feeding, like, because I've had two failed relationships and I'm 23. Someone gave me this advice saying if I don't find anyone by 25, I should just tell my mom, and it would be an Indian matchmaking scene on Netflix.
Did I give you that advice by any chance?
No, you did not give me that advice. Ironically, one of my exes did.
Okay.
So it's surprising, yeah. And
Don't
I
you
was just
think that's
like,
fucked up? If one of your
it
exes
is.
says, "Ki, ask your mom to find you a new one."
It is fucked up,
That's
right?
sad.
And that kind of, it was like showing me the mirror. It's like, holy shit, do I have like just 2 years? And it's not a race, right? It's fine. Even if 25, I'm single and I don't find someone, it's all right. Like, I don't really understand what's the big deal about it that people are making, that, you need to
And
find
I'll tell
someone
you
by
what,
20, to find
I'll tell
someone
you
by
what,
25.
yeah, you got this point about being in love and everything. Here's my take on that. I don't even think we can be in love. I don't think there's an emotion called being in love. Love is a moment, and you very accurately described it when you said, I have violins playing in my background and everything. Because I mean, if you think about it, right, you all have that one person you've loved. If you think about it, at that moment when you see them, it's time sort of freezes, and in that moment you just want it to continue. That moment should never pass. That moment in itself is love, right? It's no one wakes up and goes brushing their teeth thinking, oh, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, or while eating their food, he's thinking, I'm in love, I'm in love. No, the love is a moment, and love is a collection of these moments. There have been time I've woken up next to my girlfriend, for example, I'm just looking at her, right, and I'm just feeling love in that moment, right? I don't even need her to be awake at that point. And in that moment you could stop that moment and let it continue forever. And these moments are love, truly. And
Yeah.
love, honestly, people confuse love with desire. And this is the most common sort of thing that I see with myself and with everyone around me, that you corrupt love with desire. Because here's my thing, right? If you truly love someone, you don't even need them to love you back. Because the moment you expect them to love you back, it's desire, it's not really love,
Yeah.
right? Love, by its definition, it's the most basal and the most selfless emotion you can possibly express. It's your most vulnerable state,
Yeah.
right? If you had to articulate it, it's almost like you're going naked in front of the other person and giving them a dagger and trusting they'll not hurt you, right? And which is why love is the most selfless, the most vulnerable of emotions. And please don't confuse it with desire, because the moment you expect anything out of them, whether it's the smallest of gestures, the largest of things, it you tie it in with desire, essentially, right?
Yeah.
If you've truly loved someone, you'll feel, right? So it's a very very popular line, ek tarfa प्यार की ताकत ही कुछ और होती है, or something,
Just to
right?
translate this
uh
for all of my
yeah.
viewers, the power of one-sided love is a bit too much, right? It
The power of
unlike,
one-sided love transcends boundaries, transcends the
yes,
universe.
unlike general forms of love, it doesn't get split between two people. That's what the whole
Right,
dialogue is,
right,
right?
right.
And you mentioned something really good, which I just want to quickly, like, a small extension to it, right? You said love is sort of just
Hmm.
going naked in front of the other person and handing them a dagger,
Hmm,
trusting them that they will not hurt you back, right?
hmm.
And I think I'll just extend to it a little bit, and I think they not just trust you to hurt you with that dagger, but they trust you enough to not hand that dagger over to someone else that you partially trust, um, hoping
I didn't
that
get
they
that.
would also hoping that they would also not hurt you back. For instance, today, right, today I know guys and I know girls do this as well. Me personally, when there's a problem in my relationship, I will talk to my best friends, but I will not bias my opinion on what they think. I will, at the end of the day, I will make my own call, go with my own gut feeling, go with my heart. Okay. Not even with my family, not even with my parents, not even with my best friends. I will recommend them, like, I will ask for their recommendation. I will seek their recommendation because they're family and friends. But I will, at the end of the day, I will make my own call, right? But I know a lot of people today, they procrastinate, they ask their friends, and then their friends talk them out of things, which is against their gut feeling, when the truth of the matter is that their gut feeling was actually what they really want and what would actually feed the love that they have for someone in their heart, right? And I think that is what I was meaning, that trusting them, that they will not hand that dagger to someone else and they will just keep it to themselves, and the things sort of
Yeah,
just
I
stay
mean,
between
very,
two
very.
people and not a group. Sorry.
Yeah, very simply, I mean, it just brings back to the point, for example, I may come to you guys for my relationship advice, but I should take it as exactly that, as advice, because even you guys do not have 100% context regarding everything, right? Whatever's happening. So it's really stupid to sort of just, what you're doing is you're trying to internally shift the blame from yourself to sort of someone else, wherein, if it backfires in the future, you can sort of have this comfort to yourself, wherein, everyone recommended me to sort of do this, which is why I did it. And I think
That
that's
backup plan,
And
right? Everybody,
exactly.
that person to blame to.
You're
I'll
so afraid to be wrong. You
Yeah.
want others
I'll
to
tell you
give you
the
that.
reason why. I'll tell you the reason why it is why it should not, like, why it is something that should not be adopted. Because if you ask me for an advice, right, I will give you an advice from my personal experiences. Okay, so
Hmm.
let's say today I am single. Okay, and the reason why I have been broken up by the girl. Okay, so if you come up to me and you say that, bro, I really like this girl and everything, my advice to you will be, bro, why do you want to even get into a relationship, man? Fuck girls, bro. Fuck relationships. Are you getting me?
No, makes sense.
Are you getting me?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
But but
This
but the same
yes, you're
situation,
projecting
if
your
I am
own.
in a
Yeah.
relationship where I am in love, at the same point, if I'm in a relationship, I am in love, okay, and you come up to me and say, bro, there's this girl I really love. Oh wow, bro. Love is a beautiful feeling. Love is
Right.
amazing.
Right.
Bro, go
100%.
for it.
Because I've never seen anyone who's already in a relationship who endorses relationships. There are very few
No, no.
people.
No,
I
bro. Some people
I
do.
I
I've always done
100%
this.
do.
I've always done this.
I 100% do. I think we've sort of overextended the time, but like this was a good conversation.
Definitely.
I think let's just wrap it up, right? I think Shaur had this really interesting question that we were just
What
discussing
is
about.
love? Baby,
What
don't
is love?
hurt me. Don't
What is love?
hurt
Shut
Don't
up.
me
hurt
No,
no
me
guys,
no
this is
more.
more.
a podcast. Yeah, please don't shoo away the last viewer
This
who's
is
watching.
this is how we're going to end this podcast. What is
Yeah.
love? Okay, each one of us.
Love, Shaurya.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm going last this time. Every time I go first. This time,
No, I
Devansh
think
goes first.
have the first word, because I'm still not very clear on the idea. To be very honest, I still don't think
Okay,
I can
so
articulate it clearly.
um, okay, what is love? I think we are a generation of broken hearts and broken people. There is there is no perfect person in the world who doesn't have a weakness or insecurities. Also, no two people are the same. Everyone has had their own story. Their journey has been completely different. But when you cross a path with someone, you should stick for them, by them, with their decisions, respect it, and actually help each other grow on things that matter to one another together. I cannot emphasize this enough, but communicate. Okay, talk to one another, not just about what one wants for dinner, or what one wants to do this weekend, but what you feel about one another and what you love about them or what annoys you the most about them. And just be blunt and be honest about it. Try to make things work. Just don't give up so easily, because otherwise you will just jump from one person to another and you will end up in a spiral again and again. 10 people cannot be wrong for you. There has to be someone out there that you need to make things work with. So yeah, I think, yeah, I hope everyone finds love one day, including myself.
It's it's beautiful
Oh,
though. It's
oh.
beautiful to sort of feel love. You wanna take a shot?
Yeah, I don't think while I agree with Shaurya, I don't think I have a particular definition of love in my mind. It takes me to be in love to actually, let's say, talk about that. I am not in that phase. I don't have any definition per se, but yes, agree with Shaurya. Start. looking for that person, and I hope you guys find it too. I'm not in a rush to find anything right now.
Here's my friend recovering from love. Truly,
No,
truly
that's
spoken.
not the
But it's he's gonna kill me
that's
after this. But
that's
yeah.
not the case. Over to you, Devansha.
Acha, okay. So, I mean, yeah, I see. I know we're talking about relationships, right? But again, as I said, with relationships, it's really hard for me to articulate. And I think, sure, you've done it beautifully. But love, I mean, in a more philosophical sense, right? So, love for me, it's not about a person or even family or even loving what you do or anything, right? Those are all forms of expression where you express love. Love, as I said, right, love is just something that's there in the present moment, right? And it's going to go away the moment after this, but in that moment you just want it to continue, right? And love is what makes life worth it, because Buddha has a very famous saying that all of life, it's just pain and suffering, right? No matter what you do, you're surrounded by pain. That's just the nature of our universe. We're drowning in pain, but love is what makes it worth it, because we're also drowning in love. You're all just drowning in love of the universe, you just haven't noticed. So stop looking for love in the wrong places, right? Stop looking for love in someone else or in a relationship or in a craft. Love is the present moment, the fact that you are going to die one day and you're living right now, and this is all going to come to an end. Have the gratitude in you to feel that for the present moment, to feel grateful for the present moment, and this moment is love. I feel that is love for me. But on that thought, I think I went a little philosophical here, because again, on the relationship part, you covered it beautifully, but I just want to talk about love as an emotion, and as a feeling that you feel. But I think on that front, I think we can sort of wrap this up. Good
Excellent,
Let's
talk.
guys.
uh,
Excellent. We
let's
all know where we stand.
let's
I
go
am
back.
sure we're all getting hit up by at least one of our exes
Let's
after this. I mean, not mine, right? I'm in a very happy place.
Yeah, not
In
mine too. I
I
want to be in a happy place.
disclaimer, I'm in a very happy place in my life. I have people who are close to me, who I care for, who care for me. So it's all chill, including the two of you. But
Yo.
This was
so
okay.
this is
This
this is
was a
also love
very
for me, right?
heavy episode for me. This was a very heavy episode for me. Okay, and I think it's time for me to get back to my single life.
God, guys, thank
I
you for
mean,
watching. I hope you all learned something, and Shawl is going to end it up
yeah.
in his beautiful, beautiful accent.
Thank you for watching, guys. It has been amazing. Please like this video. Comment down below what do you think about love and relationships. Okay, share it with your friends. Share it with your ex-girlfriends, hoping that they would come back and hit you up. I don't know, or hoping that they'd never
Share
come
it
back
with
and hit
our
you up.
ex-girlfriends or not.
But
See
please don't
you.
forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, because we will see
See you
you every
guys.
Sunday. But see you guys. 3, 2, 1.